Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption.
Hey, good evening everybody. Hey, it's Militia Man and Crew. We just want to say welcome to our show, and I hope everybody enjoys the news tonight, because look, we've been seeing some really powerful stuff for the last couple of weeks, last few days. It's undeniable. All kinds of things are going on a global perspective, but here, just for starters, we're going to bring this one up. Al-Nasuri, it says, our dinar continues to recover up to the official price. So they're talking about the parallel market and the official price. Basically, Nasuri, who's respected, he's a phenomenal advisor, and he's been around a long time, so pay attention to what he says. It says here that he confirms yesterday, which was Sunday, that the Iraqi dinar continues to recover gradually and has been for several weeks, not only internally and externally, and there's reasons behind that. But anyway, he goes on and points out that the main reason for the recovery is the reform policies that these Al-Sudani's put together, what they've put together, and you know what? Stakeholders have put together for a long period of time to help the policy. The financial institutions of the world, the auditing firms, those are the stakeholders that are, well, some of them are part of the whole process. But it says the recovery is the reform policies of the central bank and the government in reforming the processes of regulating the financing of trade, foreign trade, and they're complying with international standards. They're regularizing their global financial system and new mechanisms for external transfers to secure imports and cover them in US dollars and in other currencies by dealing directly with correspondent banks. There's 20 or more of them. Okay, they've opened up accounts, they've opened up relations with these banks, and basically it says as their success of the central bank in securing and providing 95% of the demand for the dollar at the official price and covering the needs of citizens from the monetary dollar and distributing it with transparency. They're doing it with fairness, they're doing it with strict controls, they're doing it with all those things, okay? That is the main focus. Al-Nasuri, it says here, his bet is the continued recovery of the Iraqi dinar during 2025 after completing all these objectives that they've been through. Of what? The banking reform projects, the objectives of these of their third strategy. I'm not sure how many strategies they have, but I don't think it's too many. Okay. The central bank and the government of Iraq have continued to work in tandem to get these reforms done, and he's clearly kind of spelling it out. It says basically the implementation of these reforms and investment programs by attracting more foreign and Arab investments. So you're going to see a lot about Arab relationships here shortly. But he reiterates it exceeded $88 billion. I mean, for all that money to come in up until this date, prior to ever actually going international, shows that there's a lot of people backing Iraq. So basically, he said that $88 billion is part of completing the path of development. And what are they dealing with? They're dealing with gas investment, developing oil projects, and supporting the private industrial sector. Those are all big issues, big money-making issues. Development, investment, it's big. 88 billion is not a small number, so keep that in mind. Basically, the tools they've used in reorganizing these banks and reforms have implemented are working as planned to their official price, and the exchange rate of Iraq having parity at a specific time reeks of getting the parallel market, which is the cash market, the illegal market. Once they've depleted the dollar from that market, obviously it's working. Their mechanisms are working, and basically it's showing that they're going to have success into the future. And remember that the inflation is low, the black market's going away. There's key components. Those are just a couple of key components that show that Iraq has actually really come a long way. And under what leadership? Al-Sudani. And again, for that national reconciliation, before we see reconciliation with the region going to be a global scale, because they've already set up all the media, everything's ready to go for them to showcase themselves and present themselves as they were maybe in a previous era. So keep all that in mind, because that is really powerful, good information. And the fact remains is that if you're watching it unfold, you probably see it like I do, and you see it like Militia Man and Crew does. Our Super Samson brings in information that is so regular, it's not even funny. But it is funny because it's so regular. Because you go, really? How do you do this? She just does a phenomenal job. And again, back to Patreon and our Discord chat room, you guys, everybody's welcome on a global standpoint. Watch it, come in, visit, and if you're not happy, then, you know, just say goodbye. But that's okay, because everybody's welcome. And the cool part is that the data that we have provides value, and we really should know what we own. And that's what I do, is I do fully believe that what I present is helpful. And I hope that helps you get the honesty and the integrity that I bring out. And thank you all for the wonderful comments. I don't care if it's in Patreon or Discord, even on YouTube. Thank you very much for all your support. And it's a pleasure to be able to deliver information. It's my opinion, of course. It's not always the case, of course. But the bottom line is that I have a passion for what I do, and I believe in what I own, and I'm excited, because the facts remain is that if you can see the markets these days, and you can see the relationship with all these different countries, and they're all centered at the moment on the Middle East, because as one of our crew members likes to say, all boats rise with the tide. Keep that in mind. Okay. So anyway, so yesterday, it says Baghdad receives a delegation of the Arab League. You guys do know, I believe, that Iraq is one of the founding members of the Arab League. It says a senior delegation from the Arab League of States is scheduled to arrive in the capital of Baghdad. Yeah, that was yesterday. And it was going to be accompanied by a number of Arab ambassadors, permanent representatives to the League, the Arab League, within the framework of the ongoing preparations for holding the Arab Summit on May 17th. Now, realize that there's a summit that's coming along with the United States in Riyadh as of now, today, possibly, or already started, or will be tomorrow. But hey, that's setting the stage, because all those countries, I think you're going to see it in the news tonight if you haven't already, is that is a center point for all of this to begin. And so keep that in mind, okay? And obviously I didn't have the preparation to get to every little bit and piece, but maybe tomorrow, you guys show up, we'll have another video tomorrow, okay? It says, observers believe that Baghdad's hosting of the Arab Summit is evidence of the growing regional and international confidence in Iraq. International confidence, that's $88 billion, remember that. But, okay, it goes confidence in Iraq, an indication of the return of its pivotal role in the Arab arena, especially in light of the openness led by Iraq diplomacy and the messages of calm it sends to the various parties of the region. A lot of things are happening. Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Gaza, all those things. Okay, so it says the next summit is expected, which is coming up, to address a number of strategic files, most notably the developments of the Palestine issue and the economic challenges that are facing the Arab countries. And what are they doing? They're looking for ways to enhance cooperation in the fields of security and stability, right? Energy. We got oil, we got gas, we got natural resources. Investment. All of those things need investment. Infrastructure. You need to have infrastructure to be able to facilitate all of those things. That's what's on the table. It says the summit is expected to constitute an important platform to advance joint Arab action and activate political and development initiatives. Okay, so they want to have everybody on the same page politically, and they also want to activate the development initiatives. For what? For the region and Iraq. That's what they're doing. Basically, what they've done is that they're ready for interconnection into the international financial community. They have confidence of the world, okay, and they have cooperation. And so those are the biggest issues that we see happening right before our eyes. It says here that another article that's fascinating is that what the Sudanese government has achieved during the 2.5 years. I've been kind of talking about this. Al-Sudani has been hard at it. His achievements have been nothing but amazing. But anyway, it says the government has achieved during the 2.5 years exceeds what the previous governments have provided in many years. Really, it's pretty obvious that that's the case. It's been like on fast forward, the way things have been going. It's not as fast as we want it to go, but the fact remains is that what we've seen is phenomenal. It says the General of Generations of MP Mohammed Sadoun al-Shihoud. Forgive me, you guys, I'm terrible with this. But it says he confirms that what the government of Prime Minister Sheikh al-Sudani has achieved during 2.5 years exceeds what the previous governments have provided in many years. He goes on and says there's also a great government focus on Baghdad because of its importance as the capital, which it 100% is, as well as its large size and population, considering there's a heavy legacy before 2003. That's 21 years ago. That's how long it took to get to this stage of national reconciliation and then regional reconciliation. And I went over that the other night. Okay. It says, we have not witnessed an urban renaissance or the implementation of strategic projects in Baghdad previously as we are witnessing now. That's his quote. He goes on and adds that the Sudanese government has provided during the past 2.5 years is equivalent to all the services provided in the previous years. So al-Sudani is blowing all those governments away, all those predecessors away in previous years, and at an accelerated pace of improving the pension standard and achieving political security and economic stability. And there's a great calm and stability accompanied by great popular satisfaction for the government's performance in the implementation of these services, which must also be met with satisfaction by the political blocs due to the achievements on the ground. Well, the political guys, if they're not seeing what's happening, they're obviously have an agenda that's outside of what al-Sudani is doing, okay? Al-Sudani is getting credit where due, as far as I'm concerned, based on that. His achievements have showed a marked improvement and difference in the citizens' lives and not seen in decades. I think that's another fact, in my opinion. Holding this upcoming summit will be a testament to those accomplishments. I'm sure you guys will probably agree with me and see it unfold. The expectation is that's for sure. All right, here's another article. It says, it's coming out of Washington. It says the 4th round of talks with Tehran were encouraging. Okay. Sidebar, remember, Iraq has trading partners. You guys know them all. I think you should. I won't get into each and every one of them. But the point is that Iran is a trading partner. It says a U.S. official on Sunday described the 4th round of talks with Iran and its nuclear program as encouraging, noting that a new round would take place soon. And he goes on and says that the administration met with the United States, and it says we're again directly and indirectly in meetings that lasted for at least 3 hours. It says an agreement has been reached to move forward with talks to continue working on technical issues. Today's outcome, which was yesterday, is encouraging for us, and we look forward to our meeting in the near future. And then today it says the Central Bank of Iran. It says removing 4 zeros from the national currency is at the heart of the action plan for this year. Find that interesting that it's happening after they've had encouraging talks? I don't. They're trading partners. There's got to be some really big deals on this. Iraq's going to have a delete the zeros project, and now these guys are saying similarly. I think that's powerful. It says the governor of the Central Bank of Iran announced that removing 4 zeros from the national currency is one of the bank's priorities this year. And once again, you guys, remember, guys, gals, everybody around the world, remember, they're not going to tell you what day they're going to do it. They're not going to tell you how much it's going to be worth, period, amen. They're just not going to do that. What they will do is tell you what they're going to do. And no different than al-Sudani has been raked through the coals. I mean, aside from all of his achievements, of course, but he hasn't shown that he has done what he said he was going to do, or what it was going to be, is that the dinar would be stronger than the dollar. So we're going to see how this turns out. But don't you find it really interesting that the central bank is seriously pursuing the country's monetary reform? We're talking about Iran, their monetary system reform program, and they're doing it this year. Well, that means it could happen tomorrow. It could happen any day this year. I don't know, but that's what they're saying. Explaining that removing 4 zeros from the national currency is one of the key measures included in the action plan. Now watch, you're going to have numerous different people on the internet specifically probably saying it's a lop. Well, if you believe that the United States Treasury and the World Bank and the Bank of International Settlements have worked for 21 years to erase the value of the currency, you have to be kidding me. And if you're at that stage, trust me on this one, there's no hope, okay? Sorry. But that's my opinion of it, and if I'm wrong, well, I'll eat crow. But anyway, he goes on and emphasizes that the removing the 4 zeros from the national currency is part of a monetary system reform program. Lopping a currency isn't part of a reform program. It's like destroying value. That's not what we're talking about here. We have two really rich countries, okay? They've got some problems, they've got some issues, but Iraq's had 21 years to get to this stage. Now, the neighbor, different story. But I'm sticking with Iraq. That's where my hat's hanging. Okay. So let's keep in mind that Iraq, again, is one of the largest trading partners of Iraq. It's not surprising to see what they're talking about today at all because of that trade. I mean, think about it. I mean, the Toman and the Rial is far, far less value than the Iraqi Dinar. But does that mean that they don't have natural resources? They don't have an economy? They can't make trade deals? Because if they get sanctions lifted, are they working on deals right now? Absolutely. Anyway, my view is I think this is good. But anyway, it says here, Iran, ready to welcome U.S. investments if a nuclear deal is reached. So light bulb goes on. Really? You don't want to wipe us off the earth? Iran's ready to welcome U.S. investments if a nuclear deal is reached. Wow, okay. So it says here the Iranian government spokeswoman, Maharjani, she announces that her country's readiness to receive American investments in the event of a nuclear agreement. So they're welcoming our investments, so they want our money too. Really? Fascinating how things are talking about. It says that she states that the United States would be able to freely invest in the Iranian economy in an event of a nuclear agreement between the two sides. And she says, we had no problem with American investments, but there are the ones who deprive themselves, but we are the ones, or the United States is the ones that deprive themselves of great opportunities and capabilities that Iran provides. Okay, so that's fine. We'll let that one slide. But anyway, that's fascinating. It's really powerful information. Okay, so here's another article that's talking about Khomeini, for instance. It says Khomeini approves a partial freeze. So the Ayatollah Khomeini approves partial freeze on uranium enrichment. It says sources reveal that the Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has given the green light to the Iranian negotiating delegation with the United States to agree to a partial freeze on uranium enrichment, if the negotiations so require. I don't know, you guys. They're going to drop 4 zeros or whatever they are, and then they're going to have United States investment, and they're having a summit in Riyadh, and they're having a summit in Baghdad. I think you guys probably should be smiling like me today. So anyway, it says the government media, Baghdad summit preparations have reached their peak and Iraqi-Arab memorandum of understandings have been signed. It says Monday, today, preparations for the Arab summit in Baghdad have reached their peak. It says Iraq preparations for the upcoming Arab summit in Baghdad next Saturday on the 17th have entered a peak season. It says that today's preparatory meeting paved the way for the Arab Summit and discussed the Arab economic situation. It says that this gentleman by the name of Majid, he says, Iraq is going through a new phase in the economy and trade sector over the next 2 years. There are agreements and memorandum of understanding included between the relevant ministries in Iraq and their counterparts in Arab countries. It says there's a path to development, a lot of investment and trade exchange, and the Arab Summit will have a positive impact in the coming period. Okay, sorry guys, I don't have any negative news. So if you guys don't follow me on this one, click. But anyway, positive information is what we bring. And collectively, as you can see, a lot of times that negative stuff just goes away because the positive keeps coming out. And that's because we do a study and we pay attention to the trends. And interestingly enough, I think you all know, is that markets are very emotional. And so the negative really can bring out emotion, but also the positive does the same. And I'll stick with that positive side because basically that's where we're at. All right, it says Iraq is capable of hosting the summit. Preparations are underway. There's 185 service projects that have been implemented in Baghdad, including meeting halls, government palace, accommodations. It says Baghdad is ready to host leaders and all guests, and all preparations are complete. So they said that today. So they're on schedule, they're on fire, and Iraq is looking to be ready to showcase herself at the Arab Summit, and probably like never before. And so lastly, I'm going to get to another article here. It says the Prime Minister appreciates the International Monetary Fund's effort in supporting Iraq and its financial and monetary institutions. So here's one of the largest stakeholders in Iraq's process. Okay? The International Monetary Fund. Then you go back and say, well, who's the largest stakeholders in the International Monetary Fund? Okay, United States. Who's the largest stakeholder in the Bank of International Settlements? Okay, United States. Who's the largest stakeholder in the World Bank? Same thing. So keep that in mind. Who's been involved in all this? Even the United Nations, for crying out loud. The new ice cutter system, right? The IFC, which is an arm of the World Bank. What do? They develop. They help in the development process. Yeah. National reconciliation, I think, is already ready to go. Regional reconciliation is what I'm waiting for, I think. Okay, so here it goes. This is Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani received today, Monday, the head of the International Monetary Fund mission to Iraq, and her name is Jean Ghulam Poulan, and the fund's resident representative in Iraq, Mohammed Jabbar. It says al-Sudani appreciated the efforts of the International Monetary Fund in supporting Iraq and its financial and monetary institutions, which would restore their vital role at the local and international levels, especially since the fund is a key partner, I'd say partner or stakeholder, right, in Iraq's effort to reform the economy and enhance its stability, stressing that the achievements made by the government, which is al-Sudani, right, the last couple of years, achievements made by the government in financial, banking, and economic fields that represent positive steps. There's that word again, positive. You see the tone that they're giving? It's awesome. Okay, positive steps towards achieving stability and sustainable development in the country. All the buzzwords, stability, sustainable development, right? Okay. Al-Sudani points out that the importance of continued support from the international partners for the government of intensifying efforts to mitigate the impact of the challenges facing the region. It says, which would, those whatever could affect it, which would facilitate the implementation of steps aimed at diversifying and sustaining the economy through the investment environment it has provided that has attracted major development projects. So they have an importance to this. The international partners have a focus in on this. So hold on, what did she do? She praises the significant progress made by the Iraqi government in the field of economic reform through the development of the tax and customs. All of those things that I mentioned, all those stakeholders were involved. That's the cool part, right? All right. Through the development, tax and customs systems, expressing the International Monetary Fund's readiness to increase coordination and joint work, so they're going to be around for a while, to provide the necessary advice in areas of enhancing non-oil revenues. Really, the private sector, okay? I mean, you guys, this is beautiful. This is powerful. What is there left to say as far as I'm concerned? I mean, Iraq has support internally on the political side. Not always, but pretty close. Regionally, you're having the Arab Summit, and globally, the largest financial institutions in the world are supporting Iraq for going international, joining the international financial system. And what is it doing? Iraq is getting that diversification, they're getting the development, they're getting that sustainability of Iraq's economy through what? Non-oil revenues. They told us about $16 trillion worth of additional natural resources. You guys really should be just like, this is really powerful. So having the United States in the Middle East now, with the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates, and then Qatar, right, which is part of the Gulf region, and then you're going to have an Arab Summit. All of them coming together at the same time. You have the largest financial institution in the world talking about supporting Iraq into the future because of all the things that they've accomplished. That tells you that national reconciliation is that they've done all that stuff to get to this stage. And now they're ready to help them, support them in the new regional reconciliation stage. And everybody's coming together into where? Into Baghdad. I don't know if you guys are excited or not, but I think you should be. So enjoy your evening. Thank you for being with me. And if you liked my content, hit that like, subscribe button. Stick around. Come on and enjoy Patreon and get the whole story. And you can do your research on your own. Come into Discord each and every morning. Have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, enjoy the news, and thank you. Thank you, Samson. Thank you, Gigi, for all your help. Thank you, Pompey Peter. Thank you, Petra. Thank you, Brian, for all your spiritual guidance. Love you all. Thank you for being with us. Enjoy. And all those donations that you guys help keep this content going. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.